What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Matt Burrill, here to tell you guys about my friends from Big Friendly Productions. Now, they specialize in creating merchandise for bands, artists, and even lifestyle brands. With their in-house equipment, they can provide shirts, branded hats, and more, as well as some graphic design services. They offer order fulfillment to handle your online orders and ship your merch straight to your fans from their shop down in good old Birmingham, Alabama, baby. Now, whether you are getting your first shirt, you're just starting out, or you're going on a 40-show run, hit them up for all your merchandising needs. Check out their website, bigfriendlyproductions.com, or shoot them an email, merchandising@bigfriendlyproductions.com. Now, we're going to get into the episode. This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill. Also, make sure you guys like, rate, subscribe, tell your mama and them. And for more details and to get in touch with the rest of the familia, visit raisrowdy.com. Now, let's get into it. Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Come on.
This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Round. It's your boy, Matt Burrill, and today we have got a very special guest, a new friend of ours, hailing from the great state of Oklahoma, which is one of my favorite states to go to. I think very underrated place. We got our girl, Kaitlyn Kilian, with us. Kaitlyn, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. It is a Wednesday. It's like midway through the week. What is your week? What are your weeks here in Nashville like consist of? Like, are you writing a lot? Or you?
Yeah, I most of the time I'm doing lots of writes.
Okay.
Just trying to get ready for the next project, you know. So we have some new stuff coming up.
Hell yeah.
Working on a new project already again, and yeah, I'm getting excited for that. So
I first saw you at the opening for our mutual good friend, Mr. Wyatt Flores.
Yes.
At the Basement East, and that was back, I want to say, like over the summer, right? Was that over the summer, like in the spring?
Was it this? Maybe this
or was it in the fall? Or is time just moving so fast? It was in like September.
I think it was in like September-ish, maybe.
So that's probably when it was. Yeah, because that was my first time seeing you, and I was out there with Brendan Cato and some folks from Wyatt's team, and they're like, "Yeah, this girl's from Oklahoma too. Her name's Kaitlyn. She's awesome." And
yeah. You
freaking killed it. And I was like, I'd love to have her on the podcast and get in the Kaitlyn Kilian business before the rest of the world does, as you're starting out. And
thanks,
here we are doing this podcast. So how long have you been out here in Nashville?
So at the top of this year, it'll be going on 2 years.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah, before that, we were coming back and forth a little bit, you know, just getting in some studios and figuring out, you know, how everything out here worked. But we came out here about 2 years ago and started writing and, you know, getting the feel of Nashville. And
it's a long drive coming from Oklahoma. It's a long fucking drive. Like, I love Oklahoma, but I've done Oklahoma in a van before. Not the same as Oklahoma in a bus or Oklahoma by plane, like flying into Tulsa or something. But it is that's a lot of back and forth. So when you were doing those back and forth trips, how long were you staying out here?
I mean, we come out here for like a week at a time. And then after we all started, you know, moving out here and stuff, we were staying in like Airbnbs for a while. So that was like our home. We were just bouncing from Airbnb to Airbnb.
In all different sections of town, I bet, too.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's how we figured out where we wanted to live. So, like, you know, I kind of was familiar. I wasn't familiar when I first moved to town. I was living out in like Laverne. And
I've lived in Laverne. I've lived off Waldron Road. I've been at the mercy of I-24 getting in and out of the city.
I mean, I didn't mind it at first until I was moving out, and that was some weird stuff was going on.
Yeah, that's
kind of sketch.
That's Laverne shit for you. That's that
sure.
Rutherford County shit.
Some scary shit.
It's wild. And you got like Sam Ridley Parkway over there. Tons of cool restaurants, and there's a Chick-fil-A there, which is always a win. Like all kinds of good shit. Like on that exit just past Laverne, but there's some interesting shit over there. Like there's that there used to be that motel. I think it's like a big gas station now behind the Dollar General. Mm-hmm. Used to just be like a Dollar General, like a shady motel with a bunch of big rigs parked. Like there's some shady.
You get it, yeah.
If there's a bunch of big rig like trucks just parked down a motel, probably not the best motel to go in. And my house was like a mile up the road from that. So So
have some stragglers come over.
Oh, you see all kinds of shit, like a spot where there's a pilot and there's a motel like that, like next to each other. You see some wild stuff. So where in town did you end up, like when you fully got here?
I kind of bounced around a little bit. Now we're down in Brentwood, but
nice. Wilco, you made it. You made it to where
it.
Everybody says that they want to live in Williamson County eventually. That's like where they want to get to. And now you are there at a young age.
I am.
Kaitlyn, you've done it. You've made it to Brentwood.
Hopefully it, withstands
it lasts.
itself. We're crossing our fingers, but
How long have you been over there?
Since probably the top of this, like in the spring sometime.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's going on a year, probably getting close to a year.
Yeah. Very different from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Growing up on the family farm, right? You're a farmer's daughter?
I'm a farmer's daughter, yeah. It's a lot different. This whole place is a lot different.
How so? What would you say the biggest differences are for somebody from small town life coming to a metropolis? And you're living in the suburbs, so you're not even like living in the city, but it's got to feel like the city for you coming from 1,000 acres in Oklahoma.
For sure. Well, first thing is I got a Taco Bell, and like McDonald's and a Walmart, right up the street. It's just such a weird thing,
That it's that close to you right now?
Yeah. We haven't, so for a very, very temporary time, you know how they'll put like a Subway and a Quick Trip or whatever?
Yeah.
Which we call them quick trips.
Yes. Because it's a quick little trip.
It's a quick little trip.
Yeah.
But I'm like, holy crap, we got everything just right here. We moved up and got a Dollar General, a couple years ago. So that was pretty cool after I, went off and moved off from my hometown. But I've realized real quickly that there's a lot of things just at the tip of your fingers here. But also not knowing my neighbors. It's been weird.
Yeah, I don't know my neighbors either. Actually, I do know one neighbor, and I know they don't watch this shit. That's why they're different. So I'm living in like a subdivision, like right around the corner. It's nice. We pay like HOA fees and shit. Like it's like a nicer neighborhood. I'm like this is a step up from when I was living in Laverne or Antioch, or because I've bounced around in my 5 years here. And the neighbors next to me are like they're like doomsday preppers. Oh, like they're doomsday. They think my house is owned by China.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm supporting the Chinese government by living there. And I'm like, I'm just your neighbor. I'm just renting from this online company.
Did they tell you that?
Yeah, they've told me that. They're very interesting and weird and nice people. But just oddballs. There's just some oddballs there.
Yeah.
So not knowing that's a pretty good thing that you don't know your neighbors, because they could be They could be preppers.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of wondered that too. I'm like, maybe I don't need to know my neighbor.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Nashville. It's different too when you have a house and you have a family and like you're planning the roots like that. It's different than when you move to a place like this and you're
like
young
and
temporary. Yeah. Because how old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 25. Okay, so you moved out here when you were 23. That's how old I was when I moved out here.
Oh.
I was 23 as well. I was coming from New York, though. Very different place from small town Oklahoma. Very different place.
Like big city New York?
Like suburbs.
Okay.
Like suburbs. So like Brentwood to Nashville, but it's New York, so you got to cross like 2 bridges to get to the city and pay like $20 a bridge. It's stupid. You got to ask why.
$20?
Wyatt was just in New York last night. You got to ask Wyatt about touring through New York City.
Man,
and the headache that those boys must have gone through. You can't play a show in New York City and not get a fucking parking ticket. Like the cops just look for buses and just put fucking $200.
Dang.
But it's like there's nowhere to park the bus. So what do? You just eat the tickets.
I ain't never been to New York, so maybe one of these days.
What's the biggest city you've been to?
Ooh.
Would it be Nashville?
I mean, I've been down to Texas, cities too. Is there anything in Texas?
I mean, there's Dallas.
Because I've been to Dallas, Austin,
Oh, so you've
San
seen
Antonio.
Dallas is so big that it's Dallas and Fort Worth. I mean, Houston's fucking massive.
Yeah, I've been to Houston. Man, because I'm from Oklahoma,
Yeah.
I've been all over Texas,
Yes.
but moving out here, definitely I feel like it was a lot bigger until I've been here, for 2 years. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of got it figured out. I can't believe I finally somewhat have it figured out. I don't always have to use my maps,
I still, so what I do, I label locations in my Google Maps app.
That's genius.
So I have all these fucking little blue flags in my Nashville map, like the city of Nashville. It's just that's just little blue flags. And it's friends that I haven't even talked to in like a few years, but just everybody that I've met over the last few years, like locations where I'm like, I just want to type in their name and it'll take me there.
Yeah, that's
And
smart.
I have that for all over the fucking city. And I've been here 5 years and I still don't know my way totally around.
I think just being able to live in a couple different places too has kind of made me more familiar, but that's been kind of shocking. I never had to wait to go anywhere either, you know?
No, in Oklahoma.
The traffic here is like absurd.
Oh yeah, there's more people in this city than probably the entire state of Oklahoma. Honestly. Even when OU and OSU are in town are in session, like, because I know Stillwater, it's probably like Alabama, where in Alabama the second and third largest city are Auburn, Alabama, and Tuscaloosa, Alabama, when college is in session or when it's football season.
When it's full, yeah.
Yeah, but then when it's not, there's like small college towns. It's the same thing. It's got to be similar with Stillwater and Norman.
It has to be, yeah. I mean, I never really looked into that, but
have you been to Stillwater?
Oh.
I fucking love. Shout out Tumbleweed.
Shout out
Terry or not Terry. Carrie. I'm so sorry, Carrie.
Cut that out.
Cut that. We'll edit that in post. We probably won't because that would require work because I'm the editor. But our boy Carrie and Tumbleweed is like literally one of my. And I've been through Oklahoma City. I've been through Tulsa. Been to. I'm trying to think. There was one weird. I went to one town in Oklahoma. What the fuck was it? No, I've been to Eufaula, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Eufaula, wherever that is. We did a show with Mike Ryan out there. And then we went to somewhere in Oklahoma. It was like literally middle of nowhere. Like we showed up to this like ranch thing and they were burying a cow. Like a cow was dead. And we showed up and I'm just like, what is going on? Like we got out of the we weren't in a van, we were in a bus. We got out of the bus and it's like these farmhands like dragging a cow right in front of the bus, and we're like, what the fuck is going on here? And
were you in Oklahoma or in Medford?
No, we were not in Medford. It was somewhere like west. Is that what? So Medford, what is Medford, Oklahoma like?
It's north. Is that what you're asking?
Like, what is it like? Like, how would you describe Medford, Oklahoma, to somebody like myself who hasn't been there? Hasn't had the pleasure of going to Medford.
It sounds like what you just explained.
Oh, it sounds like farmhands dragging a dead cow somewhere.
It's very small. I feel like we kind of have like. Even in my class, I was one of the only farm kids in my class, but I mean, it's just a big farming community.
How many kids you graduate with?
17.
Legit?
Legit.
Fucking 17
and
kids?
I grew up with like 2 girls in my class, counting myself. So it was just a whole class full of boys, and like even in like elementary school, because we all played sports too. Like basically, if you go to a small school, you have to play sports. You know.
Yeah.
There's not really an option. It's like you either play sports or.
Like, how do you play sport? Or I guess there's more girls in other classes.
Yeah. So we had like 6 on our basketball team forever.
You had 6 people?
Yeah. We had 6 girls because we didn't have any girls in my class.
And you only have 5 on you're playing the whole fucking game.
Oh, for sure. I used to be fit. Back in the day, man, I could run forever. I was slower than sin, but I could run, man.
See, I graduated with 390 kids, and my school's only gotten
crazy.
bigger. Yeah, and I was like a small. My high school, my town had 2 high schools, so we had 2 high schools, each graduating around 400 kids. So if we were all together, it would have been like 800.
We were pre-K through 12, all in the same school.
Okay, yeah, that's what my my girlfriend has a little girl. Her little daughter, Charlotte, just started kindergarten, and it's one of those K through 12 like private kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because then you don't have to even learn a new school. Like you
know where everything is.
You really do.
But we did just build onto our school.
Really?
Yeah, we got a new basketball gym, and we're like really fortunate. Our town's really pretty like lucky with it being that small.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
How many tornadoes have you experienced living in Oklahoma? Because I feel like that's part of the Oklahoma experience. Oklahoma, Missouri, Nebraska, like you just deal with shit like that. For sure.
So, okay, talking about tornadoes.
Yes.
First off.
Or do you call them tornadoes or twisters or what? What do you call them?
I mean, tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
But you've seen the movie Twister?
Yes.
So I grew up like 10 minutes away from Twister.
Oh, no
like,
shit.
Waukeeta?
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up.
No shit.
Yeah. So that's been cool. Like, it's like nobody goes there because, it's really, really small. But yeah, I'm from Twister country. But I've only experienced probably it never hits Medford. Like the town isn't, well, as long as I've been living there, we've never been hey, knock on wood, you know.
Yeah.
But probably I want to say I was in like high school and a tornado did come through, and you know, I grew up out in the country and we didn't know if it was just like winds or a tornado.
Yeah.
But so we have the grain bins and it picked up our small grain bin and like threw it. I don't know how it missed our house, but it went over top of our house and like onto the road. So it probably went like 200 yards.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was crazy. So we don't really know if a tornado came through or not. We didn't really take like any, you know, coverage or anything.
Yeah.
We were just hanging out, woke up the next morning and we didn't have a tree in our front yard anymore. And our grain bin had been flying around. So that was probably the worst tornado that came through because it ended up hitting my friend's grandpa's farm and totally knocked everything out. So
yeah, I was here for I think there's been 2 since I've been here. The week that the world shut down due to COVID, Nashville got hit with a good size tornado. It actually came right through this section of town too, like Hermitage, like this area. It went right through it. Yeah, fucked up a lot of things. East Nashville, like the basement east, where I first saw you, it went through the basement east. They had to rebuild that thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, like went through it. There's like pictures of like the sign for the basement east, like split in half.
Oh my gosh, I need to go check that out.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, I remember going to East Nashville with like my buddies with like chainsaws and stuff, like cutting down like trees that fell on houses and cars and shit. It was nuts. It's in New York. We don't have fucking tornadoes. Like I was like, what is going on? We get like a foot of snow, which I know you guys get that in Oklahoma too.
Yeah, on occasion.
Y'all will get a lot. Like it'll get cold as fuck in Oklahoma.
It does get cold
It'll
as
get
hell.
cold as fuck. It'll also get hot as fuck. I've done shows out there in the summer. I've done shows out there in the winter.
We get all extremes in Oklahoma. Hail, snow, ice.
Yeah, in Oklahoma, I remember talking about it with Wyatt when we had him on the podcast. Like for me, Oklahoma's at the forefront of country music right now. The artists that are coming out of Oklahoma, it always kind of has been. I mean, you look back at like even bands like The Great Divide, like Hinder, like Turnpike, like there's all these bands that come out now, obviously with like folks like Zach Bryan, folks like Wyatt Flores, girls like yourself, like Oklahoma's got something to say and got a story to tell. And a lot of times it's a sad story. For some reason, motherfuckers in Oklahoma are sad.
We are.
You guys are just sad. And Wyatt attributed it to just there not being a whole lot going on, to of course, like historical events like tornadoes, like the Trail of Tears, like things that have just over time, it just feels like it's like the Mississippi Delta, like the Deep South, where there's not a lot going on, and there's a lot of areas that don't have like reservation land and like small town farmland and things like that. Like, what do you think it is about Oklahoma where you guys are just, the songwriting is just deep?
I mean, just like you said, just like the history that goes back, and I come from, you know, deep history of farmers who've been, I mean, I remember my grandpa telling me that I want to say it was I think it was his dad. They lived in old train cars.
Whoa.
Out on their farm.
That's old school.
Yeah. So they built a house and it burnt down. Like they spent all that time and money, you know, building this house, and it was really beautiful, and it burnt down to the ground and they didn't have anything after that. So they had to live in these like box cars for 2 years, I think is what ended up happening, while they were trying to rebuild everything. And we still have our like family estate, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. Like they still have the car, like there's still cars out, like box cars out there and everything. And I think just over the years, these farmers have gone through so many, in my situation I come from, I'm just relating it, you know, to myself. But, you know, there's been a lot of loss over the years. Like you said, like the weather, you just never know. Like you don't know if it's going to rain or if we're going to have a terrible drought, or, you know, we might get hailed out or whatever the case may be. We've had terrible, terrible years. And like this last year was pretty dang dry, and it was hard on like our cattle. And, you know, a lot of people were having to sell all their cattle. And
it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. I mean,
you can't control that. Like you got to play with the hand you're dealt.
Yeah, and also, you know, suicide runs so high in farmers. If that's a whole thing, you know, you can go.
Really,
to that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's become like it's kind of overlooked. Like, people don't talk about it, you know. It's just kind of, I know, you know, people that have come, they just get too big, like deep in a hole. Like, you can't just go and pick up and say, hey, I'm going to be a farmer someday, you know.
Yeah.
You almost have to have it handed down, you know, through your family anymore to be able to be a farmer. So if you're growing up and you want to be, you say, I want to be a farmer someday, the likeliness of it happening, you either have to have a lot of money or, you know, you have to have it handed down, you know, through your family almost. Yeah. Just because it's so, like, the price of farming is just so expensive anyways. And, you know, it's almost unheard of people just picking up and being a farmer. Yeah. You know, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot of heartache and just a lot of stress. Like, my goodness, I grew up with, you ask a farmer during harvest season if they've had a heart attack or something, because my gosh, my dad, he's like one of the most stressed out people I've ever met in my life. Sweetest man, but when it's harvest time, you just gotta.
Because he's passionate about it, because he knows. Well, he knows he has to provide too. You know, like, it's got to be that, just like it is with any job, but especially something like that, where you're not just providing for yourself, but you're providing the food for the community too. And
for sure.
And there's so much shit that's out of your control, like we talked about with the weather and stuff. So,
and it really is all based around that too. You know, you have such a short time span, because you're, you know, to get everything done within that time span. If it rains, it'll push you back, you know, further, and then there's a whole thing with all that too. But yeah, it's stressful, and it's hard on families, especially, you know, if you don't have time, you know, whatever. Like,
how young were you when you started helping out on the farm? Because I would imagine it had to be like almost out of the womb, right?
I mean, I was involved around it my whole life. Yeah. But I have two older brothers, so I didn't really have to, my dad didn't super rely on me until I got a little older, but I knew how to drive a tractor and stuff from real little. Like, we had to learn how to do all of that. So, but I was probably like, 16-ish whenever my dad started relying on me more. And then as I went, because my brothers moved out and he didn't have anybody to really help anymore.
So they both, where are they at?
They still live in Medford, actually, and they're both married and have kids. My brother, I actually just had a niece.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
Thanks.
Awesome. What's her name?
Her name is Riley. She's named after my brother Ryan. So
oh, nice.
I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I have 2 nieces and 2 nephews. So
wow.
Yeah, I'm a proud aunt.
That's awesome. Kids are fun.
They are fun.
Kids are a lot of fun. And for me, I mean, I've gotten to be around a little one. Like, last night I was playing a Peppa Pig matching game with like 1 million cards on the table.
I've seen that.
And I got smoked. My girlfriend, she got like 20 match. She got like 8. There was so many freaking cards.
It's a memory game, man.
Yeah, and I don't have good memory. There's a reason I don't drink anymore, and there's a reason I like going out to Oklahoma. Y'all have some of the best stuff out there, if you catch my drift.
Yeah,
you know, it's some good stuff.
Yeah.
But we were, but like being around a kid just changes things a little bit too.
It really does.
Puts it into like perspective. Like, a few years ago, I was bouncing at a bar here in Nashville. That's how I got my start, was being a door guy at a bar on Broadway. And now it's like I'm in bed by 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night after helping put a little 5-year-old girl to bed. Like, It changed. How old are your nieces and nephews? So you just had the newborn, the little baby.
Yep, we have a newborn, and then we have, so my other niece will be 2 in December.
Okay.
And she was born the day before my birthday.
Oh, awesome. Nice.
So she's my little early birthday present. Yeah. And then I have 2 nephews that are our little bonus babies. And one of them's 6. And I hate to get this wrong because I should probably know this, but I'm pretty sure the other one's 10-ish.
Okay, so the boys.
I'm sorry, don't.
So the boys being a little bit. They're all siblings, or is that with each of your brothers?
So the 2 boys and the newborn is with one brother. And then the other little girl that's about to be 2 is with my oldest brother.
So those little girls are going to have protection with those boys growing up in small town Oklahoma.
I know. They ain't got nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
They're probably going to be, I already know my 2-year-old niece, about to be 2-year-old niece, she's a spitfire.
Oh.
So I don't think she has nothing to worry about.
That's good.
She's going to be crazy.
We love that.
Runs in her blood.
Yeah. So what was growing up on the farm and stuff, and growing up in small towns, what do you do for fun? out there? Because it's a world I don't really know.
You know, I feel like that question was asked so much. Like once I got to college talking to my city friends, but I'm like,
Where'd you go to college, by the way?
I went to college at Northwestern Oklahoma State University in Alva, Oklahoma. So shout out to the Rangers, Rangers.
Okay.
But I also went to NOC and Enid, so Northern Oklahoma College, and I was in nursing school.
Okay.
So I dropped out of nursing school to do music full time in 2020.
Wow.
So,
Bold move at a bold time.
I know. I can't even. I cried for like a week because that stuff's hard, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I put a lot of time and effort into that, and it was a hard decision, but it was the best decision I've ever made.
You got to do what you got to do.
Oh yeah, for
like
sure.
you got to do. That's like what we're doing with the Raise Rowdy shit. Like we're gambling on ourselves and doing something where it doesn't feel like work. And then I have a brother that works on Wall Street in New York City, does very well for himself, but he's stressed all the fucking time. I have stresses too, but he's like, dude, you're literally living the dream, and you're getting to live your dream, getting the right songs and do what you want to do.
Yeah, tell some stories and yeah, for sure.
So what do you do for fun? Back to the original
Yes,
question. I'm sorry.
yes.
Were you an ADHD kid, by the way?
Oh, I still am. What
I
are you
am
talking
too.
about?
I am too. Let's go, baby.
I need to get on something. I'm probably, I don't know. But,
No, you're good.
yeah, I'll be all over the place. But we would just, drive out in the country or do, go hang out at somebody's house and, I don't know. We just kind of made our own fun, Like growing up as a kid, we used to have like a little bike gang, and we would all ride our bikes around town.
Oh, the neighborhood bicycle gang.
We were, and then once you get into high school, then that's you're either part of the good kid squad or the bad kid squad.
Out of the 17 kids.
Yeah, so you either try to hide the alcohol or,
Yeah.
I feel like I was kind of down the middle though, because my family's a little like we're a fun time, we like to have a good time and. I was a little bit rebellious, but I was a pretty good kid.
What's a rebellious small town girl in Oklahoma look like? Like what's something rebellious? Because I feel like you can't get away with a whole lot in a small town.
So because your parents all know each other. Like they all have each other's phone numbers.
They know your teachers.
They know the teachers.
Yep.
They know. I mean, they all grew up together too. Most of them. So it's like, I feel like my friends and I, we would be, we'd be like, yeah, well, you tell your mom that you're coming to my house. I'll tell my mom I'm going to your house, and hopefully they don't ask any questions. So you just had to take a risk. I feel like that was like the adrenaline,
Yeah.
So then we'd go do, rebellious things, like go run off to a party or something. And
A party in a field.
yes.
I'm imagining field parties or like desert a party where
in the
it's
pasture
yes.
or, on somebody's grandpa's grounds somewhere out in the middle of nowhere or whatever.
With a big bonfire.
Yeah, which we didn't have too many bonfires because the smoke, or like people you don't want to get caught.
Oh yeah, because out there you can see for miles.
Yeah, so we would, just bring everybody's vehicles around in a little circle and use the lights if you need to, but we'd park our trucks, in a circle too, and everybody'd sit on like the tailgates or whatever, and then just make sure you don't leave any trash behind. You just dang sure can't get caught, you know?
Yeah. What kind of truck were you driving?
I didn't drive a truck, and
What was your first car?
I do now though. I had a Ford Focus.
Oh hell yeah! I was a Toyota Corolla kid.
Oh heck yeah!
I was a Toyota Corolla kid, so I was in that little sedan. Good
But
gas mileage.
I drove I definitely cruised the back roads with my little Ford Focus.
Really?
Oh yeah, she was an off-roader.
Dust flying behind you.
Straight off-roader.
Hell yeah!
I gave that thing some hell.
What do you drive
man.
now? Because I'm in a truck now too. We've graduated the trucks.
I drive a little Chevy truck that was my grandpa's.
Oh, that's cool.
I brought it out from Oklahoma. Her name's Candy. I had to give her a name whenever we came out here. So it was actually one of my dad. Like we kept the truck and it was sitting in the shed, and I needed a vehicle out here because I was like, I don't have to drive my car back and forth, and I want something when I'm home because I still go home quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need something out here. So I got my little red short bed single cab Chevy truck, and I drive the heck out of it. It's given me some trouble lately though, so
That'll happen.
we're kind of fighting with that, but it's okay. There's no AC, but I got my little crank window.
Oh, crank windows. Hell yeah.
Crank the windows down.
Old school.
Old school.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's cool to be driving a grandpa's truck like that too.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it has that family feel. It's like the Lee Bryce
Yeah.
song. I drive your truck. You were close with your grandparents, I'm imagining.
Oh yeah, I was the baby of 40 grandkids.
40?
40.
All in the same small
Yeah,
town?
Yeah. Well, so my grandparents had 12 kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Farmhands.
Farm hands for sure. I think that seriously, they just need
That's
some
part
help.
of the old school mentality.
Yeah.
The more we have in the family, the more help we got on the farm.
Yeah.
The less people we gotta pay.
But more people you gotta feed.
Yes,
so,
more mouths you gotta feed for sure.
I mean, but it worked out. I come from a pretty good family, and my grandma was like my hero. So both my grandmas. I have the best grandmas in the world.
Why do you say
so.
that?
She's just like being able to raise that many kids for one. I think it just, I figured most people would go crazy, right? But
yeah.
She just was the most calm, like sweet. She's passed now. Both my grandparents on my dad's side passed. I had the 12 kids, but she was just so calm and sweet, and she could make anything. And she just, I don't know. It's just like the humbleness and peacefulness of her was just so inspiring, I actually have a song coming out here pretty soon that I wrote for them.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Golden Picture Frames.
Okay.
And because my grandma, she had like pictures up all over her walls.
Classic
like,
grandma stuff.
Covering in gold picture frames. And so like everybody's pictures, like all of her kids' senior pictures, her senior pictures, her and my grandpa.
Oh.
All the weddings and all the grandkids on one wall.
So was it literally just a whole wall of pictures, like a tree where it just expanded out?
I mean, it was like the whole house.
The whole house was just pictures. It's like a museum, like a family museum almost.
It was like a museum. That's a great way of putting it. So I just, when I think of her, I always think of that, all those, they all had the same golden picture frames. And so it's just kind of funny because you think of like an old grandma.
Yeah.
When you think that, it takes you back to your grandma's house.
That's awesome. So. Yeah, I grew up very close to my grandparents as well. On my mom's side, on both my mom and my dad's side, but on my mom's side, because I grew up in the same town that my mom did and that my grandparents did, and like the same area. And granted, it was a suburb of New York, a little different than small town Oklahoma, but I grew up like always living within like 10 minutes of them and like having days where it'd be, my grandma would call it Grammy days, like grandma days. So where I'd spend the whole day with her kind of thing, and very close and still close with them. And they're up in back up north right now, but like there's something special to having a good relationship with your grandparents. I'm very excited for that song to come out because my grandma also had pictures everywhere. Then we upgraded her to the digital picture frame where it like changes out, so it's one frame and you can put like a few hundred pictures on there.
Save some space on the wall,
Save some space on the wall for all of her other stuff. All of her other stuff that she's got. Shout out to Grandma. We jokingly call her, I jokingly call her G-Unit.
G-Unit.
G-Unit. And she's like the grandma out of, if you've ever seen Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yes. I used to watch that all the time at my grandma's
she's
house.
like Raymond's mom. Like it's like she's a personality, just the curly hair. Been dyeing her hair for years. But there's something special about having a good relationship with your grandparents and stuff.
I agree. And my other granny, my mom's mom, I just took her to Jamaica with me.
You just took her to Jamaica?
Yes.
You took Granny out of the country.
We did. And my aunt got married. And so
awesome.
Granny was shimmying all over the place.
Whoa.
Drinking drinks by the pool. So
Enjoying
she's my party granny.
Party granny.
She's where I get the wild side from.
The wild side.
But then there's a lot of balance that goes on.
It is all about balance.
Yeah.
It really is.
She's fun. And she's still kicking it. She's 70. She's about to be 79.
Wow.
Just rocking.
Has she made it out to Nashville yet to visit you?
She's got to come out one time for a bachelorette party.
Was it your
sister-in-law?
Your sister-in-law's bachelorette party. What was that like? Because you were out. I'm guessing you were involved in that as well.
Oh, for sure. So we got the party. We had to do the whole, Nashville bachelorette thing.
Did you guys do a pedal tavern or a party bus?
We did a party bus. We got Granny on there. I got video of that. I might have to pull that out here eventually, but she's like. She dances, she has a fun time, has her drinks, and we even did the whole wig thing, and everybody was taking pictures with Granny out on Broadway.
Of course, I'd be if I was at Whiskey Row when that had happened, I would have definitely, I would have taken the picture with the granny. Granny would have had all my attention.
We need to bring her here sometime.
We do. We need to bring Granny out for we need to have you play one of our Raised Rowdy nights.
Yeah.
And bring Granny out, because Granny definitely raised you. That's the Granny that raised you rowdy.
She did. That's why I wanted to say something about that. 'Cause she did.
Yeah. Yeah, like we talk about that and going back, like the history of Raised Rowdy, like when Nikki T had first started it back in Pittsburgh, like back in like 2016, 2017. The artists coming up then were Luke Combs, Riley Green, Muscadine, all those guys. And their moms loved the concept of Raised Rowdy because they're like, damn right, we raised them rowdy.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
She'd say the same thing.
Yeah, like we love that. And that's awesome. And we love seeing the balance of like, because I think of you, I think of like sweet farm girl from Oklahoma, don't know a ton about her. Your music fucking slaps. Love your music. You do a great job, and you're still figuring it out and learning and growing. But you have this wild side too, and we love the wild side because that's what Raised Rowdy.
You do.
Did you go to a lot of concerts and stuff growing up?
I mean, we did a little bit. My family likes the whole classic rock stuff, so like we'd go to all the old, rock shows.
Like who?
I mean, we went to like a ZZ Top thing. I remember at all the casino shows.
Oh yes, you go Choctaw Casino.
Yeah.
Yes.
Casinos
are fun. I love that you guys have slot machines in the damn gas stations. That was always one of my favorite things to do touring through Oklahoma.
I know. It's weird not having casinos out here too, by the way.
Well, there's one. Have you been to the one in Kentucky?
Uh-uh.
There's one right over the border.
I heard.
Like 30, 40 minutes outside of Nashville. You cross the border, boom, casino.
That's what my day-to-day manager is from Kentucky, and she's telling me about that. I actually took her to her first casino in Oklahoma. Ooh. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, the Oklahoma casino scene is different. Choctaw's cool.
Yes, it is. I'm trying to think too of who else. I'm like off the top of my head. You're like
ZZ Top. That's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, it was so funny. I mean, this isn't really that funny, but it was funny to me just because I had never seen this before. They had like medical assistants on the side of the stage.
Whoa. They had like medical help for Billy Gibbons and those guys.
And I was like, what is going on? I'm like, please, nobody have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
My gosh. But it was just, I had never seen that. But they were like on call,
Yeah.
like side stage on call.
Yeah. That's crazy. I remember one of the first shows, because I worked in radio for a long time. That's kind of how I got my start doing this media stuff. I was a radio guy, and the last station I worked for was called Magic 98.3. Their slogan was today's hits, yesterday's favorites, Magic 98.3. I still got the radio voice.
Yes, you do. I was about to say that.
But it was like soccer mom stuff. So it was like oldies mixed with like Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, a lot of Bon Jovi, a lot of Bruce Springsteen because it was in Jersey, a lot of Charlie Puth, a lot of Jersey guys. But one of the first contests that I remember, because I worked on the promo team and did the intern thing, was a Paul Anka concert. I don't know who Paul Anka is.
I mean, yeah.
So I didn't really know who he was, and then I told my grandparents about it. My grandma and grandpa were like, oh my God, Paul Anka. They were like freaking out. It was like this old guy that used to do, it was like Wayne Newton kind of stuff, like out in Vegas. And I remember going to that show, and we had to do like the prize wheel and like all like the radio shit. And just these old people, it was a lot of walkers, like helping people with their wheelchairs, like wheeling people in.
That's the concerts I used to go to. They were all like old people getting wheeled in wheelchairs.
What was your first like country concert experience?
My first country concert experience would have had to have been in high school. My mom took me to a Casey Musgraves concert at Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa.
What a show.
Oh,
shout out to you, Mom,
for
taking Kaitlyn to a Casey Musgraves show.
I was so excited.
At Kane's too.
Yes.
Legendary place.
Legendary. I mean, because I didn't really go to a whole lot of concerts growing up.
You also didn't have a ton going on.
No, we didn't. I mean, and my family's not, they're not big into going out like that anyways or do anything.
Yeah.
We're kind of boring. But we had fun, like, at home, but we didn't really like go out to shows or do anything like that. But once I got into high school, I started going out to Calf Fry, so also shout out again to the Tumbleweed.
Calf Fry I'm bummed because I want to get out to Calf Fry so bad. So something that Carrie and I think it's Miss K who's out there, the crew at Tumbleweed. Every time we would go out there, particularly when I was out there with Trey Lewis, who's a regular out there, he usually does one or two shows a year out there. they hook us up with leftover merch from the different festivals. So like I have an Outside City, an OCL shirt. I have Cap Fry shirts from like the last few years. Like every time we go out there, they hook us up with different merchandise and stuff. So I have a bunch of Cap Fry merch, but I've never been to a Cap Fry festival.
Oh,
But it's always the same time of year as the Key West Songwriters Festival. Which we go down to and we host happy hours at for Raise Rowdy. Like that's a big week for us. So what I think we're going to do this year, what we're going to try to do, we have a guy, Sam, who used to live in Stillwater. He's from Cincinnati originally, but he was in the military and then lived out in Stillwater. He's big into that scene of like the Austin Meads, the Co-Wetzels, the Mitchell Fergusons, the Gannon Furmans, like that whole world.
Texas scene.
The Texas, Oklahoma, the Red Dirt scene.
Red Dirt.
So I think we're going to try to send him out to Cap Fry this year to experience it for us while we're down spending way too money at the beach.
You have to. You have to. It used to be wild. Like we used to all tailgate right next to it, but they've kind of had to shut that down within the past, few years. But while I was still in school and, in my prime, we had some rowdy. We'll talk about rowdy. We had some rowdy.
I bet.
Rowdy times.
I bet. I want to get Nikki T out to Stillwater because Nikki's never done Oklahoma or Texas. And I've been blessed to be able to go out there on tour and stuff. And the Oklahoma scene, it's just people really appreciate the music. What's interesting about that scene too is, it struck me as being something very different. The dancing culture out there. So it's like you go and play a show, Tumbleweed not as much, but like you go to different venues and people like usually you go to a show in the South, it's like a rock show. People are in the crowd, standing in the pit, and then it's going back from the barricade. You go to a dance hall, people are all around the side. The sides are packed, and then the dance floor is empty. The band starts playing, they like the song, they get out there and they start dancing. And then the song ends and they hop off. And then they wait to see how the next song sounds, then they go out there and dance again if they can dance to it.
I play a lot of shows like that, actually.
Yeah, that's what your scene is. Like it's so different. I've talked to so many artists that are from Nashville or from the South that come out from this side of things, go touring out there, and they're like, "Man, it was weird out there." And I'm like,
"It was weird out there."
I'm like, dude, it's just the culture. It's twirling around the dance floor, and they're still watching and listening, but it's just the dance floor is the dance floor. No drinks on the dance floor. The dance floor is a sacred kind of thing. Like twirling someone around at Cane's it's a different world
for sure.
So have you done shows outside of Oklahoma? Oh, you've done the stuff with Wyatt, so you got to see. So for you, was there a little bit of like culture shock doing shows in the Southeast or in different parts of the country compared to the scene you come from?
I mean, I would have to say yes. I mean, for one, it's just being out on like a tour anyways, it's going to be different. But I think honestly, the biggest one was going from different towns and realizing how different, like the different places will react differently to you getting up on stage. Like I've had out in Raleigh, North Carolina, shout out to North Carolina because
I fucking
y'all
love North Carolina. I love it.
I can't even compare it to anything else. It was just like you get up on stage and they immediately respect you and they they just take you in like their family.
Yeah. Do you remember what the venue was in Raleigh?
Was
it a theater?
It was a theater.
It was the Lincoln Theater.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, it's like very old.
Yes.
There's like the balcony. It's like a theater, but there's not seats on the bottom.
Correct.
Yeah, I've done a couple shows in there.
Oh my gosh,
it's a cool spot. And that's where guys like American Aquarium got their start, and a lot of bands in the Americana scene in the Southeast got their start in. I've been out there a few times. It's a cool spot.
It's a cool spot, and they're loud, and they didn't even know, they never even heard my songs before, and they were like picking it up and singing it like along with me, and I was like, hell yeah, y'all are cool.
Yeah.
And then you have other places where I feel like everywhere was a little bit different, like going from Kansas, which was more of my that's more of where I'm from, and it was more expected. Like I felt like it was kind of more like Oklahoma show a little bit.
Yeah, it is the Midwest. It's a flyover state.
It is,
sure.
Yeah, and a lot of the same kind of background, farm kids type of thing. And then you go from that and then out to Raleigh. It's just totally different.
Yeah, how many dates did you do with Wyatt? Because you did a lot this past year, right?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know the exact number. I missed 3 shows because I got sick, like real sick. And it wasn't COVID, but I don't know. I couldn't, like, I lost my voice. I was coughing my head off, and I had to miss 3 shows up in Chicago, Milwaukee, and
so you missed you were supposed to go to the rave.
Yeah.
The rave. I remember so I had Wyatt on the podcast at our old space right before he was getting ready to go out there. And I told him,
yes.
Chicago, cool as fuck.
I
Chicago.
was so sad about that one.
Chicago in the summer is one of my favorite places to go. And the food's great. The people are great. They're a legal state. It's awesome. And they love country music. It's one of country music's biggest markets. And Joe's on weed. Joe's live. Shout out to Ed and Dave and our friends up in Chicago. Yeah. A fantastic place. Milwaukee's cool because you know the history of that room, the Rave Eagle Club?
I don't know the history behind it, but I kind of looked a little bit into. Is that the one in the big hotel?
That's the big hotels across the street. So it's Jeffrey Dahmer country.
Yes.
So the Rave Eagle Club, it used to be like an old like rich people's kind of club where it just has a lot of like history to it. There's the pool in the basement.
Yes.
And that's where the Mac Miller thing's on the plexiglass. I know Wyatt.
In the pool, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And that's where Wyatt and all them, like they give you the ghost tour, like the history tour. Because it's the place, they have like 3 or 4 venues in that building where they can do 3 or 4 shows at one time.
Yes.
There's the big ballroom upstairs. There's the bar stage. There's like what used to be like the old bowling alley, and that's a stage. And then they have a club stage on the main level near where the bar stage is at. And it's crazy. But you walk in, I remember getting the goosebumps because I get weird with ghost shit. Like I can feel. I can feel the vibes, like even in like newer buildings. I have my girlfriend's apartment be like the middle of the night, and she'll be like, "Babe, what's up?" I'll be like, "I just heard something." I get like this weird energy kind of thing.
That's me.
Like,
I swear.
Like I lived in a haunted house. It was right around the corner here in Hermitage. The house I lived in before the one I'm in now, haunted as fuck for sure. Haunted as fuck.
Dang.
And my roommate, he works like security, and he's like, dude, he's like, text me. He's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard that." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna clear the house real quick," like thinking someone was in it, but nobody was in it.
That's crazy.
Washing machine will go off random times. The dishwasher, like appliances will just go off. You'll hear a door shut. You're like, nobody's in this house but me. What the fuck?
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of had some weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just like me being overcautious or something, but I get freaked out by that stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I get spooked.
But I am interested in it. Like you want to like that whole haunted hotel thing or like the haunted building, the rave place. Yep. I was all about that.
That's like that. And then the National, it's a theater out in Richmond, Virginia. That's another one that has like some interesting things that they'll take you upstairs. You're like, that's a little weird up here. Like there's some weird stuff that's gone on in this building. And it's funny how music venues are like that. Radio stations are a lot like that. Like this radio station I worked in, we had ghost catchers or like a ghost thing come in there and do like a report on it.
In your radio station?
Yeah, at the radio station. Yeah, because I used to work at the overnight. I used to be in there like late night. I used to sleep at that radio station because it was so far away from the house I grew up in. So I would have to, where we'd have like a late night thing, and then the next morning I'd have to be on the air at like 6 a.m. So I'd be like, "Oh, I'd pop up the air mattress, sleep in my boss's office." But like you'd hear stuff like alarm system would go off, like just weird. You'd see shadows, like you'd be in like the main studio, and then you'd look over to the window, and then you'd see like a shadow in the room, like just weird stuff. And you're the only one in the building, like weird shit.
It's a no for me.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you got Golden Picture Frames.
Yes.
Coming, and then
I got 3 songs coming. I'm about to drop an EP.
You're about to drop a whole EP.
I am.
Fuck yeah.
I am.
That's awesome because you've got how many songs out now? You've got what, like 4 or 5, something?
I have 3 songs.
I was looking at your Spotify stuff.
Just released 2. I actually just released a song called Mr. Sunshine. One of my good friends passed away back in 2019 while we were on a harvest run up in Iowa. And so I wrote a song for her and released it on her 30th birthday this year.
Oh.
So I got to do that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to include her in this EP for sure because it's about, my life, like leading up to now and my story.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of your music is the stories of what you've gotten to live over your 25 years.
Yeah.
and you're figuring it out more and more as you go. Have you done the co-writing thing here in Nashville since you've been out here, or were you doing that in Oklahoma before you came out? Or?
I didn't do it as much in Oklahoma before I came out here, but I definitely have while I've been out here. I've been really lucky to get to write with some absolutely like legends. There's absolutely amazingly talented people, and it's been a very awesome learning experience. So
yeah,
been mentored a little bit. I feel like in the writing rooms, and it's really changed the way that I've been able to write my songs and be able to tell the stories. So that's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. So what are some goals for you for 2024? Like, where are we hoping that you're getting ready to put the EP out? And 2023 seems like it's been a big year for you in the step in the right direction to like, all right, I've been in Nashville for a little bit, get the lay of the land, find your homies that you like to create with, get some shows out of town. Like, seems like it's been a great year. What are you looking forward to getting into next year?
I would have to say just being able to release another EP after the one that I'm gonna drop the EP at the beginning of the year, but I want to be able to release another one.
Okay.
By next year, and just be able to keep up with what I already got going on.
Hell yeah.
So maybe hop on another tour. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. You get the experience doing that. Now, when you're out doing these shows, are you doing it with a band, or are you doing it? You're doing a full band? 'Cause I think you were full band when I saw you at Basement East, right?
Yeah. So actually, I played. If you notice, I played with Wyatt's band.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
So that was actually my band to begin with.
Okay.
Like, we started out in Oklahoma, and then like I was super happy for everybody to get to go, and Wyatt got all these awesome experiences or opportunities, and so they were able to go and experience and live out what they're wanting to do, and I've been able to be a part of all of that. So it's been absolutely awesome. Like, I love those dudes.
Yeah, it's something. It reminds me of, because when I came, like, the circles that I've been a part of and been lucky, the friends I've been lucky to make, and the guys I've been lucky to tour with, it's like you'll have like a crew, like your friend group and all that, and then someone from the friend group will have that moment where the world is watching him or her, or them if it's a band, and then the rest of the gang will come up as well. Like, we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary of when my life changed, when Trey Lewis put out Dick Down in Dallas.
Yeah.
Trey was just a buddy. He's sober. I'm sober. Like, we got to know each other very well during COVID. And then when that song came out, which it started out as a campfire song, and he played it around at Live Oak, and video went viral and all that stuff. And we did a night of, like, coming up, we're going to be doing it again soon, where it's Trey and our buddy Alex Maxwell, who produced that song. He's right at Sony now. Alex Maxwell and Trey Lewis's birthdays are a day apart, so we do a big birthday party for them every year. And we had planned this birthday party. It was actually the first time that Nikki T and I had worked together on something. And that night, I mean, we had guys like Matt McKinney, Ella Langley, Joy Beth Taylor, all of these friends play with that. And now all those folks ended up getting the eyes on them as a result of Trey, and Trey bringing them along, bringing them up with him, someone reaches that level, and then, hey, let me bring you up too. Like, you guys are watching me, but it's like Wyatt saying, check out my girl Kaitlyn.
Yeah,
check out my boys from Oklahoma. Check out like all the rest of the crew. And I feel like the Oklahoma crew is a lot like that, where you guys have all kind of come up together, and everybody's starting to excel at their own pace, but getting the attention because of a big moment of one individual within your crew.
Absolutely. It's just like a family.
It is.
It's like you get to literally
is. And you guys have all lived together, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys were all homies. How'd you meet Wyatt? Because I know he grew up just outside of Stillwater.
Yeah,
right?
And I grew up like an hour away from Stillwater, and but we actually met at a show at the Tumbleweed. Back to the Tumbleweed.
Which
again.
show? Yeah.
It's called Jammin' at the Weed, and we were in the same so. In Oklahoma, there's a bunch of just, people trying to start up in the music industry, and we were both a part of that same crew, and we had this, writers round going on that specific day that he ended up being in my round, and after I just played a show the night before at the Tumbleweed, and he was there. Wyatt was watching, and so after we got done with our writers round, he came up and he was like, "Dude, I watched you last night, and you're awesome," and he's like, he's like, where have you been? Like, I've never heard of you, you know? And so we just started to talk and we stayed in touch. And I always like to tell this story just because I think it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
We got these posters and our names, you know, we were in the same group. And he's like, will you sign my poster? I was like, yeah, man, I got you.
Yeah.
I was like, will you sign my poster?
Hell yeah.
And so, but we became really good friends after that. And we actually ended up playing lots of shows in Oklahoma together. And before we knew it, we were both out here in Nashville. Like, we came out together. We were on the same pub and same label. And so we have, you know, we've been able to work together. And it's been so freaking cool to watch him just because he's like my little baby brother, you know? I'm like, it's such an honor to get to watch him, you know, especially such a good person like him.
To see good people win is one of the best parts of this whole thing. Dude,
yes. It's been such a cool experience to be kind of like on the sideline and get to, you know,
he's had you on the fucking field with him.
I was about to say.
He's had you on the field with him and had his band and his management, all people that you guys have made this journey out here in Nashville from small town Oklahoma, made it out here to a scene where you guys could have gone to Texas or could have stayed out there and been like, we're red dirt folks, which is cool for guys and girls to do too. Nothing against that. But you guys all took this leap to move across the country together, and it's fucking working.
It is. It really is. We didn't know if it would or not, but, you know, it's just the fact that, like, you know, just trying out something and it working, it's just kind of, it's just such a fulfilling thing. It's freaking cool.
it's awesome. No, and I love that. Now, some questions. So, favorite places to go in Nashville? Like, somebody's coming out here. Where are you taking them?
Okay. Well, I haven't really, I'm not one to, like, go out a whole lot and check it out, but whenever I've been, like, when I bring friends to town, I have a couple of spots. Like, of course, everybody needs to go experience Broadway. If you come to Nashville, you have to at least experience it.
Yeah.
During the day. At nighttime, it's crazy.
Yes.
But also Old Smoky.
Yeah.
Like 5th and Peabody.
So it's so cool. It's got 3 fucking names.
I know.
It's so cool. And me and my girlfriend and her friends joke around about it all the time. Like, so they're basically saying, "Oh, you're going to Old Smoky? Are you sure you're not going to Yeehaw? Oh, you sure you're not going to 6th and Peabody?" Like, it's
6th. I said 5th home.
It's okay. One street over, no big deal.
I always just call it, you know, Old Smoky.
I love that place on a Saturday during football season.
Yes.
They got all the fucking games. You got to get there early though. We show up when the doors open because you have to get a table. And it's so fucking crazy in there.
But they got everything. They got food. They got games. They got drinks.
Daddy's dogs.
Daddy's dogs. I know. Oh, man, Daddy's dogs. Don't get me started.
What's your order?
I love me a hot dog. I don't even remember. I've only had it like one time.
Okay.
But it changed my life.
We used to get those on Broadway all the time when I was working down there. You'd get done with your night shift, and then the hot dog guys would give you free hot dogs.
It reminds me of Stillwater.
Yeah.
They got a little hot dog stand in Stillwater that we all, like, would make a line.
Yeah.
It's like half a mile long, just waiting for a hot dog.
Yeah. So you like so Broadway, Old Smoky, 6th and Peabody, Yeehaw, all one place.
And then, of course, like I don't know. I like the Basement East too.
The Basement East is cool. The OG Basement's a cool
Basement
vibe.
is cool.
That's kind of where Wyatt cut his teeth in Nashville.
Yeah.
He was doing a lot of showcases there early on.
I think I really like the OG Basement. Like, that's just something
about
cool.
it. Yeah.
I like going down to, like, all the little, like, you know, touristy little spots, like 12th Ave.
12 South.
Yeah.
12 South. Have you eaten at Urban Grub yet?
I've not ever ate there.
Okay. Urban Grub is so fucking good. It's expensive. It's nice.
I've heard it's expensive.
It's expensive, but it's a good place if you're like celebrating something. That place is great. Edley's Barbecue is greid. Bar Taco.
Yes.
Is fucking phenomenal.
Delicious.
My girlfriend's been living in the Gulch since April. So I never really went to 12 South or the Gulch, but I've gotten to experience those sections of the city, and they're great.
Yep.
Really good food.
And it's very girly down there.
It is very girly. That's why I go down there with my girlfriend.
Yes. It's a great place to take your lady.
Yeah, or if you're a single dude looking for a group of bachelorette, go buy them flowers at the flower truck or something. That's a good recommendation.
Yes.
If you're on the road or you're driving back to Oklahoma, you pull into a Love's, what are you getting?
I got me an order.
You
I
got
actually
an order?
made a TikTok about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
So, I know this. Some people think it's gross, but I'm like obsessed with corn nuts. Ranch corn nuts.
Corn nuts.
Yes.
Like what are like? Is it like they sell them by like the bag? Like it's like a corn.
What?
I don't know.
You
I've
don't
never
know
had
what corn nuts are?
No, maybe we call them something different. I don't know. I've never had.
No,
corn.
they're definitely called corn nuts.
Corn nuts.
Yes. So corn nuts, and then I like sweet and spicy Doritos.
Okay.
Purple bags.
You're a purple bag girl.
Purple bag girl.
Okay.
I just on occasion I'll get some candy, but they didn't have the candy. I don't know. I feel like they don't have them out as often. It used to be a big thing when we were kids. I feel like the little mini sweet tart thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Ball deals. Chewy sweet tarts.
Yes.
I love them. And I don't know, like a Diet Pop or something.
Okay, you just told me you're from the Midwest without telling me you're from the Midwest. You just said a Diet Pop. We say soda.
Diet soda.
Soda. SODA. Soda. We don't say all that pop stuff.
I don't know. I feel like I say both.
You say
Pop
both.
soda.
Pop soda.
Pop soda.
It's like pop country, pop soda.
That's
That's awesome. Well, Kaitlyn, I appreciate you coming on. It's been fun to like get to know you. Like I like doing podcasts with guys and girls that I know of them and I've seen them play and like met them like very briefly, but like getting to know you on the podcast is like the best way to do it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I love this.
It's a lot of
great.
fun. And I'll invite you to this. I don't know when you're going back because I know you go back to Oklahoma a lot. We're doing our Raise Rowdy Christmas party. Have you ever been to the Rusty Nail?
I haven't.
So it's out here in Hermitage.
Okay.
It's a dive bar.
I used to live real close to Hermitage,
It's
but
a dive bar. It's a lot of fun. It's a place where you get $3 beers. They got a beach volleyball court in the back.
okay.
They'll do midget wrestling out back.
Hell yeah.
Occasionally, they'll do bike nights during the summer on Fridays. We do writers' rounds there and stuff, and then they'll even do fucking drag shows on the weekends. Like everybody,
Fun.
everything goes. They have like fried food, and they're really good people. We're doing our Raise Rowdy Christmas party there, December 13th. It's a Wednesday.
Perfect.
If you're in town,
I'll be here.
Bring the whole game. It's come as you are. Come with whoever you bring. We're doing a toy drive with it. You bring a toy, you get a free draft beer.
Oh, awesome.
It's Raised Rowdy. And then we're not having anybody play like no like rounds or anything. We're doing karaoke the whole night. So
Hell yeah.
So it'll be karaoke.
You're gonna sing some.
I'll sing some Creed. We do butt rock. We're big butt rock people. You're probably like, what is butt rock? So it's back when radio stations used to say like 102.9 The Buzz, nothing but rock. So it's like 90s and 2000s rock. So it's like Hinder, Creed, Nickelback, Limp Bizkit, Korn. So I'll probably be up. I'll probably be up there singing. My go-to is usually Rockstar by Nickelback,
That's great.
or Stroking by Clarence Carter, which is a completely different thing. I did that with my boy Nick Haynes about a month ago. But we'll be doing it's a fun late night bar. But we'll let your team know too. Everybody's invited. If you're watching this, you're invited to December 13th at the Rusty Nail. Come as you are. We're gonna put like I don't think the Rusty Nail's ready because we're just inviting everybody. And it's like Christmas parties are usually like formal, like you got to get dressed up and shit. But this is like literally come as you are. We're saying BYOB, bring your own beer money because we can't afford an open bar. So it's $3 beers. You can get Jello shots and syringes. They call them tetanus shots.
Oh.
Jello shots $2.
Awesome.
It's like hometown bar shit.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a place you can actually afford to
drink
it.
some beer.
And free parking. There's a big parking lot, so it's like not like Midtown where you have to worry about like paying for parking or drinks are expensive and stuff. And we definitely have to get you at one of our rounds at Live Oak too.
I'd love that.
We would love to have you on a writers round and get you connected with some of our other folks that are rising up and stuff.
Yeah.
So where can people go to find you on all the socials and stuff?
It's Kaitlyn Kilian Music on Instagram, Twitter. I think Twitter may be actually a little different.
It's like called X.
Oh yeah, it's X.
X.
No big deal.
Do you tweet much?
I'm terrible about
I was gonna say I don't do that shit at all. I tried the Threads thing for a little bit, and that didn't really. It's just
I can't. I used to be a lot better, but
I prefer Instagram and Facebook are my go-to.
Facebook, I'm on there.
And the TikToks. You're on the TikToks, right?
Oh yeah, yes. I forget.
It's important.
That's
Importante,
the
the TikToks.
That's the important one.
Yes, and of course Spotify, Apple Music.
Yeah, it's Kaitlyn Kilian Music, and I also am on YouTube. I just released a music video.
Oh really?
Yeah, so you'll have to check that out.
Sick. We'll put the link for that in the description because this whole episode will be on YouTube and stuff. So
Perfect.
We'll
I
have
love that.
We'll have that. We'll get those subscribers up and everything.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
that's
great.
awesome. Well, y'all be sure to check out our girl Kaitlyn Kilian. Did we have a date on Golden Picture Frames? Do we know?
It will be coming out in January.
Okay, January. All right.
Okay.
So starting out 2024, y'all be sure follow our girl Kaitlyn Kilian. You'll get all the details on the new music, the new EP, all kinds of good shit. And yeah, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, sis.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime. We'll do it again. Maybe towards the end of next year we can recap your 2024 and
That'd be
all
great.
that stuff. Let's do it. Well, y'all be sure to check out Kaitlyn Kilian. Appreciate you guys and girls for watching. As always, be sure to follow her on all the socials. Be on the lookout for the new music. And shout out, as always, to our friends, Big Friendly Productions, Saxman Studios, Whaletown Media, our boy Mitch Wallace with The Digital Marketing Agency. You want to know more about us, visit raisedrowdy.com. You enjoyed what you heard and watched, hit that subscribe button, like, rate, subscribe, tell your mama and them. Well, as always, this has been Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill. You all have a great rest of your day.